I just got back from seeing The Flash, directed by Andy Muschietti, whose claim to fame was directing the It movies, Chapter 1 and Chapter 2, and Mama. I mean, it's a pretty big jump from It to The Flash. You would think Warner Brothers, if they really wanted this to be, they'd get a bigger director, you know, or somebody more seasoned. But anyway, this is the last film of the DCEU. That's just the way it is. I mean, we can't do anything about it. This is it. This is the last of the DCEUs. James Gunn has said himself that Blue Beetle will be the first movie in the DCU, but Superman is the first. I don't know. I don't even get it. I don't even understand what he was trying to say there, but whatever. But let's get back to The Flash. The Flash is basically an adaptation of Flashpoint Paradox, a comic book series that came out. I don't even remember how long ago, but it came out and then it was adapted into a animated film. And it was pretty good. I remember seeing the animated film. I remember hearing about, you know, how great Flashpoint was, the comics, and then I got to see the animated film because I wasn't reading comics at that time. But I also see things in this film. Not only is it loosely adapted from Flashpoint, it also takes elements of other animated films. I saw a little bit of Superman Unborn in here for some reason. Maybe because of Kara, and also Superman and Batman Doom. No, is it Superman Batman Doom? No, Superman Batman Apocalypse. So I see little elements sprinkled in of those two things involving the Supergirl character, which we'll talk about in a second. But also the Flashpoint Paradox and taking the Michael Keaton Batman universe into this as well. So it's taking a good story, an established story, and then changing it, and then adding bullshit on top, and not even doing it correctly. In a way, you know, I don't know. At the end, it kind of does a disservice to those stories because those stories are better than this. He realizes that he's able to go back in time, and he tells Bruce Wayne, Ben Affleck, played by Ben Affleck at this point, he tells him that he could travel back in time and maybe he can go back and save his parents, his mother, from being murdered and save his father from going to jail. And also maybe he could save Batman's parents from dying. Bruce tells him it's a terrible idea, and if he goes back and interacts with himself or anybody in the past, that it could have, you know, ramifications.
The encounter could create a time paradox, the results of which could cause a chain reaction that would unravel the very fabric of the space-time continuum and destroy the entire universe. Granted, that's a worst-case scenario. The destruction might, in fact, be very localized, limited to merely our own galaxy.
Well, that's a relief.
Barry's stuck on this because his father has his trial coming up, and he thinks that his father's not going to get off because the only evidence that they had on his father that could release him is damaged. Even with all the technology they have, they can't correct it to show that Barry's father was nowhere near his mother when his mother was murdered. So Barry has lost hope and faith, and then he bumps into his old girlfriend or friend, Iris, who's a reporter now, and she starts talking to him, and somehow he gets it in his head from something she said that, you know what, he might be able to go back in time and just simply put something in her shopping cart that would force his father not to leave the house so that maybe he could defend the mother or nobody would come in to try to murder his mom. So he travels back in time, he puts the item inside her shopping cart and changes the timeline. But then while this happens, something happens and bumps him and knocks him out. So like he was trying to go back to his own time, but you see this reverse flash. No, it's not reverse flash, it's dark flash. He sees dark flash. Well, he doesn't even know it's dark flash, but dark flash pops out, knocks him out into an earlier time than he wanted to he was trying to go back to his timeline, 2023. He ends up bouncing back a few years earlier. And he finds that his mom is alive. He did it. He saved his mom. She lives. And he's talking to his parents, and all of a sudden he sees himself coming home. So he realizes that he exists in this universe, in this time period. So something's wrong. So that's from there. Then from there, the story becomes Zod's invading Earth. And he's looking for the Kryptonian that humans are hiding. And Zod's coming to invade Earth. And Barry has lost his powers because he had to tell the new Barry that Barry had to be at a certain place in a certain time in order to get hit by the lightning to become the Flash. While he's in the way, it hits him and hits Barry. He loses his powers. Barry gains his powers. So the other Barry, the annoying Barry, 18-year-old Barry. So now he has to because Zod's come to Earth and he doesn't have his powers, and young Barry has the powers, but young Barry doesn't know how to use them. They need to find somebody that exists in this universe that existed in his universe. And he discovers through Barry's friends that Batman still exists in this universe. So they go to seek out Bruce Wayne. Is trying to figure out if Superman is on Earth and seeing where he is, and they discovered that they might be hiding him in Russia somewhere. And I think it was Russia or Serbia. And Batman decides to help them to try to stop Zod. And from there they find Kara, and that's when all the action ensues. And I won't go to spoilers yet. I'm going to talk about generally, and then I'll go into spoilers. So generally, as a general outline of what I think about this movie from that synopsis, that whatever you managed to gather from my reviewing. This movie was okay. It was good. It was good. I'm not going to lie. Okay, it was good. It was better than okay. It was good. It was worth seeing in the theater. I don't know about that. Actually, I don't think it's worth seeing in the theater. Look, this is what's going to sell this movie because, honest to God, the first hour I was just annoyed of Ezra Miller. Older Barry I didn't have a problem with, which was supposed to be him. He was okay. It was the young, obnoxious version that he was trying to portray, or had to portray. Like, you're so obnoxious, he says to himself. It's beyond, it's so annoying, it's so cringe. It's really bad. I mean, 2 Barrys in this thing is just, 1 Barry would have been hard enough, because in the beginning he's a little bit, but then when there's another Barry on top of that, it's a little bit too much. It's more than a little bit too much. It's way too much. It's just, oh my God, he's so fucking annoying. And it just goes on, and he's the worst. His laugh is annoying. Everything he finds funny is annoying. He does stupid things, and it's just horrible. And it's supposed to be funny, right? They're trying to make it a comedy for the first hour. Nothing lands the first hour at all. Not one joke lands. It's just bullshit throughout the entire thing. Besides that, let's see. The CG's shit. The CG's absolute shit. This is the worst CG I've seen since the Matrix Reloaded. The CG looked like it was a PlayStation 2 video game. Like, that's how bad it was. That's how much this looks terrible. And there are scenes besides Zod and Fiora's faces being just CG on top of armor, the armor bodies, right? There's also scenes where Barry's head is CG on top of Barry's body. I'm like, what? Like, you could just tell the head is like, and not CG, like just like green screened on top of his CG body or something. It was really bad. It was so bad. And then there's cameos, and the cameos are horrible. The cameos CGs are terrible, absolutely ridiculous. It was just god awful. It's really terrible. And so let's see. The movie starts out with Batman is trying to stop this kid who stole this bioweapon, and he's trying to stop him while he has Barry go take care of like this bullshit incident at a hospital in Gotham. That whole scene with the babies in the beginning I was just like, oh my God, this is a real movie? This looks terrible. The babies look so bad. It was like, honestly, I can't believe they released this movie. To be honest, it's not a bad movie, but the CG's just garbage. Where did all the money go? It's really bad. It's really bad. Now thinking about it, it's really bad. Like, you go see it. I'm not telling you not to see it. I'm saying it's a good movie. I will give it, at the end it gets good, but just the CG is really ridiculous. But anyway, it gets good when when Michael Keaton shows up. That's when the movie gets fun, and that's when the jokes work. They land. It's funny, and I'm like, oh, this is good. And then when they find Supergirl, I like her. I didn't think I was going to like her when she was cast as Supergirl. I guess Andy Muschietti is Mexican or Spanish, because he also cast the actress from Y Tu Mama Tambien, I forgot what her name is, as Barry's mom. And she's Mexican, so Barry's Mexican. I didn't know Barry Allen was Mexican, but he's half Mexican. And I know Supergirl, the actress, was a Mexican soap, or just a soap opera actress. But she's good. I like her. I actually feel bad that I think maybe they should, if they're going to make the Supergirl movie that they want to make, maybe they should just bring her over to it, because I don't think she was that bad in it. And they don't do anything in this movie. They're not pushing an agenda. That's why probably critics don't like it. As a fan, look, on top of everything, I'm a fan of DC. I've always been more of a fan of DC than Marvel. Yes, when I was a kid, I liked Marvel characters. But like I told previously, I like different characters. My uncle had comic books that I could read when I was a kid from the 60s that he used to collect. So I gravitated towards Daredevil, Black Panther, Spider-Man. And then when I started watching, Spider-Man and His Amazing Friends, Iceman, and then the X-Men, and the Fantastic Four, and then Hulk. Like, so my order of comic book characters for Marvel is different than most people. They have probably different number one favorite character. For DC, for me, it's always, since I was little, it's been Batman, Superman are both number one. The Flash, actually I would say Green Lantern, The Flash, Wonder Woman, like those are the orders. I like The Flash. I remember after Batman 89, The Flash with Wesley, what's his name was in it. I had that tape. That's how much I liked it. I didn't even know it was a TV show that had a season. I just knew that movie, the first movie, the pilot or whatever. I thought it was a movie because it was released like a movie. But anyway, so I'm more of a DC guy. So for me to say this movie is good, you should go see it if you're a DC fan. I don't know who else should go see it. I mean, if you're not a DC fan, there's really no purpose to go see this movie. It serves nothing. It doesn't add anything to the DCEU because the DCEU is dead. Michael Keaton and Supergirl saved this movie, and more so Michael Keaton. And it could have just been a Batman film, but really, honestly, Michael Keaton saved it, and even him saving it, honestly, at the end, I'm like, oh, he was wasted. But it was fun to see him back. It really was fun to see him back, to see him in the Batsuit, to do stuff that he wasn't able to do back in the day, to see cooler action scenes with him as Batman, to see him get to fly in the air, and it was pretty badass to see the new Batwing. That was badass, and there's cool scenes in that too. But you should see it. I don't know if you need to see it in theaters. I don't know how you're gonna see it, but you should see it one time at least. At least if you're a fan of Keaton Batman, go see it for that. Nobody's gonna go see it after that. Most people are gonna be like, the CG really, I don't know where their money went. So with that being said, all in all, I'd give this movie a 2.5 out of 5 stars. I mean, I think that's being fair enough. But now we're gonna go into spoilers, okay? There's other things I do like that I did laugh. So here's spoilers. So spoilers, I always knew it was gonna be Barry that was gonna be the bad guy at the end, and he is. Barry's the Dark Flash. Barry's the one he creates, the Barry he creates, which we would have thought would have had more weight or more gravitas, but for me, I was just like, well, no shit. So it was like a nothing. They do the multiverse things at the end, where you start seeing all the cameos of everybody, and the cameo is George Reeves. I saw George Reeves. I saw Adam West. They did a big one for fucking Christopher Reeve and Helen Slater as Superman and Supergirl, which Supergirl. Why that movie? That don't even include her. Let's just pretend that movie doesn't exist at all. But Helen Slater, when she was Supergirl in the original film, she was hot, she was gorgeous, she was the perfect Supergirl in the worst Supergirl movie ever made. That was a ridiculous, atrocious piece of garbage film, but she was hot as a Supergirl. And then to have her CGI next to Christopher Reeve, we've never gotten these two in the movie together, even though Clark is referenced as being her cousin. Jimmy Olsen was there, but not Clark. I mean, it's just, what the hell? But we finally get them to see them together, and they just did it so poorly, so bad. I was thinking, why can't they it's like they just animated them for real, like CG animation. Why didn't they cast 2 actors, put them on a roof, film them, and then do the deep fake like Brian Monarch on Instagram does with the Schwarzenegger and all these deep fakes he could do from his home? You telling me they can't do that? Hollywood, make it look better than what we got. Oh, and then we had another good one, which was Nicolas Cage. He was a cameo, and that was great. That was really good to see. I like that. But the problem is that majority of people aren't going to know what the hell's going on. They're going to say, why the hell was Nicolas Cage in the movie as Superman? Unless you're a fan and you know about the Superman Lives script that Kevin Smith wrote for Tim Burton's film, that Tim Burton was going to direct the Superman film and Nick Cage was going to be Superman, and he test screened for it and he tried out the costumes. It's going to go over a lot of people's heads. They're going to not understand why that is. Also, I think they would have shaved Nicolas Cage's chest for that top area. They left that. I was like, why would they leave that hairy in the CG version? Take that off. It was ridiculous. Yeah, he's going to fly around the costume and show his hair on it. Whatever. That was just ridiculous. In this universe, when Barry talks to himself, and the other Barry. No, he doesn't have the Flash powers yet. Does he? Yes, he does. So he gives him young Barry the powers. He takes him to the spot where Barry was struck by lightning and became Barry, the Flash. They got the powers of the Flash. He takes his other self there. He gets struck by lightning. He becomes the Flash, but he loses his powers. So they're trying to figure out how Zod comes in. They're trying to figure out how to stop him. So they go to Barry's roommates or Barry's apartment, and his roommates are there. And through talking about this with these potheads, we discovered that in this universe, Eric Stoltz was Marty McFly. Kevin Bacon was Maverick in Top Gun. That Kevin Bacon played Tom Cruise's part. So Eric Stoltz played Michael J. Fox's part in Back to the Future, which is originally supposed to happen. I don't know if Kevin Bacon was supposed to be in Top Gun. He passed. But Kevin Bacon was supposed to be Maverick in Top Gun. In this universe, he is, right? And Michael J. Fox was the star in Footloose in this universe. I thought that was funny. I was like, oh, shit. Another cameo they have in this is Boba Fett is in this. They call him. Barry calls him, and he's like, is this Thomas Curry? And he goes, yes. He goes, do you live in a lighthouse? And he goes, yes. He goes, is Arthur there? And he goes, my dog. And you see he has a dog named Arthur. And he goes, no. Did you marry Atlantean princess? And then you look and it's this fat, disgusting woman sitting on the bed. He goes, I think he said something to him, but he hung up. So I was like you jerk off or whatever. So anyway, there's a scene where Barry tells him you can't move people. Because it'll have a bad reaction because you can't move people in the speed of light while you're moving the speed of light because this could happen or whatever. So something happens where Barry has to move the other Barry. So he moves him and he goes, what just happened? And he goes, I moved you, but just a little bit. And he goes, he just starts throwing up all over the place. I laughed. I thought that was funny. And then Barry getting shot because he goes, I got this. And he tries to help Batman and he does, but then he gets shot through his leg. And he starts screaming. I thought that was funny too. So the jokes work there, and then it builds up to Zod and them fighting Zod. That was great. At the end of it all, they can't beat Zod. No matter what they do, and the young Barry doesn't want to stop. Oh yeah, they also redo the experiment that caused Barry to become the Flash, and he becomes the Flash again. So now you have two Flashes, and a Supergirl and Batman, and they're gonna try to fight Zod, and they do, and it just at the end of it, they just can't beat Zod no matter what. And it's funny because, in a sense, if other Barry would helped, yeah, they probably could have beaten Zod. There's no fucking way Zod was gonna be. First off, never mind. I just all he do is break his mask, he'd get fucked up, and then all three of them could have killed him. They just did it for whatever stupid reason they wanted to do it. And Barry realized he couldn't stave anything, which. He didn't help the young Barry. He could have helped him. So Supergirl keeps getting killed. Batman dies no matter what. So it was no. He's like, there's nothing we could do or whatever. And then Barry gets pissed and he keeps trying and trying. And then you find Dark Flash comes and is Barry from the future who's really old. And he's been trying for fucking who knows how long. And the reason why he's I started it was which I don't understand that theory either. How he was the one that was able to push Flash out. To, I guess, I don't know. Anyway, maybe it's in that universe. I don't know. I have to think about it more. I just got out of the theater. I can't think about this right now. But at the end of it all, young Barry sacrifices himself. Now, you would have felt bad and some sort of sympathy for young Barry, but he was so obnoxious and annoying until the last 5 minutes of the film when he was okay. That you don't give a shit. So he sacrifices himself, kills older Dark Flash. Dark Flash dies. The multiverse starts saving itself, and then our Barry goes back in time. He goes back to when he put the can in her shopping cart, and then he steps in, and then he starts talking to his mom. That scene didn't work very well. I don't know if it was because of her accent or what. It just did not work between the mom and older Barry at all. And then he takes the tomato sauce out of her shopping cart and knowing that he's going to be the reason his mom dies. So, which is kind of fucked up. But it had more weight to it, I guess. I don't know. It could have had more weight to it. Just didn't. I don't know why it didn't. It just really didn't hit as hard as it should have. But that's because Barry did one other thing again, which probably is what affected the outcome of the last scene, which is Barry sees that when he puts back the tomato can, he sees that it's at the bottom shelf, and he looks up and there's a camera. So what does he do? Is he changes all the positioning of that tomato can, right then and there. He puts them all on the top shelf, so this way when his dad comes in, he'd grab it from the top shelf and the camera would see his dad's face. So anyway, his dad's released from jail because of this. Wayne Enterprises managed to clear up this video footage, and you can see that the father's there and he grabs it from the top shelf. So this way they release his father from jail, so his father's free finally. And then that's why I think Barry putting the tomato cans on the top shelf altered that last scene at the end. So he's happy and he walks out and he's got a date with Iris because she asked him to ask her out, which I guess is the only thing that would be like, he couldn't have the balls to ask her out himself, which he should have. There's certain things like that should have changed him, because the one thing that other Barry had that our Barry doesn't have was confidence. Even though he was a fucking blithering idiot, he had more confidence. He already had a date with Iris. So it was like because of his mom and because his life was different, he had the confidence and he doesn't have. So you would think that after all the shit he did and what he managed to accomplish, that he should come back home and have asked Iris out without her having to ask him to ask her out. But we all know why the fucking put that bullshit in there. But besides that, then he gets a phone call from Bruce Wayne. He goes, "Oh, Bruce, hey, I got so much to tell you, blah, blah, blah." And then car pulls up, everyone's taking pictures, and then the guy walks up, and Barry goes, "Who the fuck are you?" I laughed at that part. I did laugh because he's like, "Wait, who the fuck are you?" And he goes, like, "It's George Clooney." Why would you do that? Even if that was the bit, why would it be George Clooney? Why? You should have paid fucking Christian Bale the money to do the last. Why? It's like a slap in the face. And this guy's supposed to be going to direct the next Batman. Are they going to put George fucking Clooney in his hairpiece as the new Batman for Batman Brave and the Bold? Please don't. Please, I don't want nothing. I can see them saying we knew. No. Please. No. Anyway, so that was that, and then there's an end credit scene with Aquaman, and it was stupid. So that's it. That's the movie. I would have told you in a nutshell. All in all, I do like the Supergirl. She wasn't Mary Sue. She wasn't the best at everything because she couldn't kill Zod, and she tried. And the moment that she does get mad is because she was like, it's the best. It was a good scene where they said that the Kodak wasn't in the boy, right? And it says we already like Zod already intercepted Kal-El's ship. That's why there's no Kal-El, and she was sent to protect him, which means that Supergirl could have showed up at the end of the DCEU. She could have ended up showing up in this film. That would have been a better ending. If at the end he sees a ship going, he goes to the ship and it crashes, and he opens it and it's Kara. She wasn't bad as Supergirl. I wouldn't mind seeing her come back to be Supergirl with a better suit, because that suit was kind of whack and hurting. She's a pretty girl. She's not a bad actress. I don't mind her. I did have a problem with her being cast because she's a brunette. And I said Supergirl's a blonde. Supergirl's always been a blonde. But I really did not have a problem with her. Look, if they cast somebody else, okay. But I don't mind this girl, so they should cast her. But whatever. All in all, like I said, this movie it's an okay film. I don't know. 2.5 out of 5 I think is decent. Anyway, let me know if you saw this movie, what you thought about it in the comment section down below. Remember, like to subscribe and share, and I'll talk to you guys next time. Peace.